is Tuesday, November 1st, 2022, and I recognize a quorum with council members Nash, Porterfield, Withers, Young, and me in attendance, and also council member Cash. We have one item on our agenda today, and it is RS 2022-1825. It exempts Canvas East, located at 1105 Fatherland Street, from the minimum distance requirements for obtaining a beer permit pursuant to section 7.08.090.e of the Metro Code. Do I have a motion?
Moved.
Right, and the sponsor is here. Care to share with us?
Sure. So this property is the former Bill Martin's grocery store.
I'm sorry, which grocery?
Bill Martin's grocery store at 11th Fatherland.
Well, I thought you said Belmont.
Bill Martin's.
Like, wait.
And so Mr. Martin passed away a few years ago. His family kept the store running for a little bit, but decided not to do that, and the building went for sale. It was purchased by an entity that runs a health organization called Music City Prep Clinic, and they are leasing, sort of subleasing a part of their space to Canvas, which is a bar that had been on Church Street but is moving over there. And so I had community meetings with the East End Neighborhood Association over there about 2 years ago when the 5 Points redevelopment district was expiring. I worked with planning to match up the zoning districts with the redevelopment districts. We had a community meeting 2 years ago with some of the neighbors. At that time, the request of the neighbors was that they wanted to have a cocktail on the menu that was called the Bill Martini. That was the request. And so that was 2 years ago. So time has elapsed. We've had a tornado and other stuff. So I had an open house for neighbors about a week or so ago, and some of my East End and Edgefield neighbors came over and visited, and I think it'll be okay. I mean, noise is always a concern with bars, and they do have an outdoor patio, which will be fabulous, but on Fatherland Street. So, but we have good communication with the neighbors, so I think that will be fine. But with that, I will renew a motion for approval unless anyone has any other questions.
Any other questions from the committee?
A clarifying question, you've not received opposition complaints?
I haven't seen any emails, so like I said, folks have had concerns about noise, which I think happens a lot. I mean, with lots of places in 5 Points these days. So, but we've got good communication with them in the East Precinct, and I've let them know that neighbors do call the police over noise in 5 Points these days. So they would have to drink out.
Councilmember Cash?
Not super related, but so has the neighborhood lost a grocery store? Is that a concern?
It's not a
Not that
concern we
this bill
can
can do
resolve.
anything
but
about
yeah.
it, but what?
It's not a concern we can resolve, but yeah. But
Well-
Bill Martin's, it was a family grocery store that had been there for many, many years. But Mr. Martin passed away, and his kids ran it for a little while and decided not to.
What's the closest grocery store?
Well, it depends. I mean, this was the closest grocery store really to like Casey and Edgefield Manor. I mean, they had to walk to it. But that had been the closest. There had also been a Family Dollar down there, which also is closed. But we do have Turnip Truck Natural Market. We have Aldi, which used to be in H.G. Hill, but it's been renovated. We have Kroger, the Eastland Kroger, which has been renovated, as well as a Publix. So
But this
there are-
closed down a few years ago, right? The grocery store portion closed a few years ago?
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
And the other side of the building's now a clinic.
Yeah.
I heard.
So for that area kind of closer to Casey, I mean, it's, but now the Envision Casey master plan calls for adding a full-service grocery store at 5th and Shelby. It's just that we're not to that point of the development
That's
yet.
what I wanted to hear. Okay.
Yeah. But unfortunately, we cannot force a little mom-and-pop grocery store to stay open, so.
Certainly is a challenge around the city when we see those go. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, it is 8 in favor and none against, and that is all the business that we have in front of us. Is there any other business that the committee would like to bring? Any other? All right, with that, the Government and Operations Committee is adjourned. Thank you.
In there.